Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about HubSpot. If you're hustling in the trenches to build a business or bootstrapping one of your own, let's talk about an AI-powered tool that can lighten up your workload a bit. HubSpot's Campaign Assistant is a game changer for creating marketing campaigns at scale. It quickly turns your key selling points into a cohesive pitch, which helps you deliver knockout emails, ads, and landing pages in minutes. So let Campaign Assistant take care of the campaigns so you can get back to growing your business. Work smarter, not harder at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Howdy, folks. It is Thursday, August 18th. I'm Jacob Cohen here with Juliet, Bennet, Rylah, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. In a bit, work from home has been all the rage, but the honest truth is that it's really not an accurate term because a lot of people who do work remotely do not actually work from home. They just work away from work. And one of the places they are increasingly doing that is the gym office. Basically what you'd get if WeWork and Planet Fitness made love. Juliet, who just visited one of these, wrote about their lucrative business models and is going to enlighten us on the trend. But before we get to that, let's take a quick look at what else is going on in the business and tech world. Let's get crack-a-lackin'.
All right, Jacob, so you're going to tell me what this quiet quitting trend is.
Yes, it is a definitely trending. Quitting in general. When you think about quitting, a lot of times you envision like an explosive scene in some movie, in some office, someone screaming, cursing out their boss. This is very much the opposite of that. And it's become online really just a trending term that's gained a lot of steam in the work-related discussion. So what is quiet quitting? Well, as basically the most viral clip about it on TikTok put it, it's not outright quitting your job, but it's quitting the idea of going above and beyond in your job.
Right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I've been quiet quitting for years, now that I think about it.
Nice.
Not this job, but definitely in previous jobs where it was just like, okay, this isn't going anywhere. I got to start looking.
Sure.
But I'm not going to quit right now. So I'm just going to do what I need to do and then get out of here.
Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of people kind of feel. A lot of people are just kind of trying to value their life outside of work more than their life inside work. And it's definitely trending at a time when quitting itself is more relevant than ever. 40% of employees are willing to quit their jobs for just a 5% raise elsewhere, and 20% are ready to leave their jobs for just other jobs with the same pay. But not everyone is on board. I watched one clip from this lady, Shinny, who's a full-time software developer and vegetable farmer.
That's cool.
Who basically, yeah, it is very cool. Basically, she questioned if quiet quitting means not going above and beyond and just doing what you're paid to do. Isn't that just called working?
Fair point.
All right, moving along. Airbnb, I guess, is a bit of a party pooper. It's launching an anti-party set of technology to identify high-risk reservations in the U.S. and Canada. This involves looking at people's review history, length of time on Airbnb, trip length, distance to the listing, time of the week, and other factors. In June, they actually announced a flat-out ban on parties in Airbnb properties. And this has been widely successful in tests in Australia, where they've seen a 35% drop in unauthorized parties. Moving along, the TikTokification of everything crusade continues to march along. We've seen Meta introduce Reels. We've seen podcast apps introduce new TikTok-like features. And now Amazon is getting into the mix, with the Wall Street Journal reporting that Amazon employees are internally testing a TikTok-style photo and video feed in the Amazon app nicknamed Inspire. How lovely. Yeah, inside users can scroll through, save, share, and purchase items. I think it's smart. I do. There are a lot of really popular Amazon product sellers and pages on TikTok already, so why not keep that within their ecosystem if possible, right?
Yeah, I could see that working.
And in other news, Apple is exploring manufacturing Apple Watches and MacBooks in Vietnam in an effort to diversify production away from China, and Target's profit dropped 90% in Q2. This double whammy of deflated demand and excess inventory that it's seeing could persist into Q3. Guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, Juliet, let's talk about work from home. And let me just frame this here for 1 second. Some interesting stats. In June, McKinsey found 35% of Americans report having the option to work from home 5 days a week. And they also found that when people have the chance to work flexibly, 87% of them take the offer up. Now, there are obviously a ton of pros and cons to remote work, which we could talk about for days. Flexibility is great. People are saving nearly 6 hours weekly by commuting less. But data also shows they're spending half of that saved time just doing more work. So pros and cons. But clearly, a lot of people are still choosing to work from home, even though offices are opening back up. And this is a really big deal. We're America. We love the office, right? Of course, I'm talking about the TV show, but still, offices can provide structure, friendships, mentors. But an interesting trend that you wrote about is, I think, bridging this gap a bit, just in terms of combining work from home or work away from the office with something more social, more engaging, and that is the gym. So, can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so I went to a space that just opened in Los Angeles called Heimat, I believe is how you say it. It is a German word. It means home. And the company that's doing this is RSG Group. They're based in Berlin, and they actually acquired Gold's Gym for $100 million in 2020. So they do have traditional, regular gyms. But Heimat is kind of unique because it kind of has everything. It's a gym, it's a social club, it's a co-working space. So it costs $350 a month. I spent, let's say, like 6 hours there on the day that I went.
Okay.
The first thing I did was take a Pilates class. That was great. Then
Very nice.
I wandered around the gym space, which is massive. It had every cardio training machine, anything you could think of, it had.
Mm-hmm.
The locker rooms were gorgeous. They were super well appointed. You didn't have to bring any products with you because they kind of had everything.
Nice.
They had a little meditation room. They had a sauna. There was a spa that I didn't go into, but apparently you could get a massage or a facial or a mani-pedi.
Lovely.
Juice bar, rooftop pool, restaurant, regular bar. And then they had an actually quiet, and this is key for me, an actually quiet co-working space and a library where we weren't allowed to have Zoom calls or talk, which I loved.
Wow. Okay, cool. So so who is this really intended for?
I think this is intended for somebody who is already looking for a gym and already looking for a co-working space and maybe already looking for some sort of social element. Because I will say, I have worked out of a WeWork for a long period of time. I had a company that just told us we could use any WeWork we wanted. And the WeWork that I worked at was very rarely occupied by other people from my company. And I will say, I never met anyone.
Right.
I made better friends with the dogs there than the people.
Yeah, you can only say cool dog so many times, right?
What I really like about this model is they tend to also have they kind of have all in one. You think about, okay, maybe you show up at your co-working space, you do a little bit of emailing, then you go work out, you take a shower, you do some more work.
Sure.
Maybe at the end of your day, you go up to the rooftop bar and you have a cocktail and you start meeting other people that work there that aren't, in your industry, or maybe they are, and you make all these connections. And I think for the person who finds themselves saying, I don't want to be sedentary, sitting in the same chair all day. I want to have some wellness in my life, which is becoming increasingly important as people talk about work-life balance. And the person who's like, I work remote and I never meet anyone and I'm lonely all the time. This is a great 3-in-1 solution. And depending on where you go, it ends up being kind of cost effective, because you might say to yourself, all right, Heimat's $350 a month. That seems like a lot. And it is. But WeWork's membership I just looked at starts at $299 a month, and it doesn't have a gym and it doesn't have a shower. Yeah. So, if you're thinking, for $50 more, I could have all these other things, then. Yeah,
honestly, these seem like relatively reasonable price points. I came across one of these actually in Cape Cod, and I was asking them about it, and they told me it was great for them because it expanded the value of their offering. And it also just helped in terms of leaning into the pandemic work from home kind of trends. But aren't there some other inordinately expensive versions of this?
Oh, yeah, of course. And what's weird about these ones that I'm going to tell you is they are actually, I did the math, more expensive than if you join the Soho House.
Okay, yeah. What are we talking?
So New York has one coming up called Colette. To get in, you're going to need to pay a $125,000 initiation fee and dues of $36,000 every year. But you'll get, the gym, the restaurant, the bar, a private office, and staff that you can boss around, and you can tell them, I need a copy made. Go get me a coffee. So
Right. You get the private office, though, so it's really worth it.
Yeah. Not sure if it's corner office. You got to pay more for those. But, if you're a 1%er, there you go.
And bada bing, bada boom, that's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in to The Hustle Daily Show, our proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Ezra Trupiano. Our executive producer is Darren Clark. I'm Jacob Cohen here with Juliet, Bennet, Rylah. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, you can go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late, since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.